Hi everyone, welcome. I am Christine Josti of Mail Something Pretty, and today is, October 24th, 2023. It's my regular scheduled Tuesday live, going 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right now, but you might be watching the replay, so you can be watching it anytime. So thank you very much for joining me. I have a fun project for you to watch and then for you to make, because it's all based on 12 by 12 designer series paper or pattern paper, which we all have. I have a whole bucket, bucket or container of it, so I know you have it too. So I thought it'd be fun to use up some of our pattern papers. Hi, Mary Lou. Hi, Nancy. Awesome. Excellent. So we are working. I was just saying, we're going to be using our 12 by 12 paper because I know, or I think, we all have it. Hi, Bonita. We all have 12 by 12 paper in our stashes, so let's use some of it up. So I thought I came across this envelope design on the internet from a demonstrator. She was French, so I don't know if she was in Canada or if she was in France or somewhere. But I altered her directions a little bit, so hopefully I can make it a little easier for you. So that's what we're going to do today. Alrighty, so we have people on. We are good. YouTube is just notified, so we'll get people a second for that to go on. Awesome. So let's see, it's the end of October. Crazy. So we have our Stampin' Up! Joining offer that's going out. I sent out details about that this morning in my email, and I think that's the only offer going on for Stampin' Up! So I'll think if there's something else. All right, so let me actually slide this over. This seems to, we have I live on Thursday, so please join in Thursday night, depending on where you are in time zones and global and everything. But Eastern Standard Time, Thursday, October 26th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Anne and I are doing another live. So I want you to join in on that, or at least watch the replay, because it's bound to be fun. Neither one of us know what we're making. We know we're doing a color combination of, we both love Night of Navy. We both love Lemon Lime Twist, and I threw in there Bubble Bath just for a third color, and she's, I think, not happy that I did that. So we'll see what we come up with. But so join this week. Okay, so let me switch here. Perfect. All right, I think that's perfect. Oh, no, I had it right. There we go. All right, so the card can be designed anyway, but I actually did it. These pieces use the leftover pieces from the envelope. So I was trying to think a little smart on some of my other examples. Because of the direction of the paper, it doesn't work. But here is the envelope. I didn't even think to actually get a legal size envelope. I don't have a ruler. I think it's a regular mail. I'll go to the post office and find out, but I'm pretty certain this is a normal stamp. And I added just a label sticker, and you'll see another one. I actually did a die cut here. It's a little fancier, but this is an envelope. So it opens up this way. I have some sticky strips, so my card just goes right in there. And then you peel off the sticky strip, seal it down, and off it goes in the mail. So something totally fun. I also did the envelope so it can open up a different way. So I'm going to show you that as well. But that's what I came up with. So that is what we're going to make today. Great. Kim is here. Mary Lou likes it. Awesome, awesome. All right. So this is actually current paper. I have tons of it. Let me show you. I ordered extra packs by accident, right? We all do that. And so it's a really thick pack of paper, which is a really good thing. We used it tons at club at the beginning, and I thought that maybe you guys were getting sick of it. But it's called Delightfully Eclectic Paper, and it doesn't all match each other, which is why it's eclectic. But there are plenty that do match each other. So this is the sheet that I'm going to use. And I know I was just talking about Anne. I know this is one of her favorite patterns. So maybe I'll save it for her birthday. But there are lots and lots of papers. You get 4 of each design in there. But I have another, hopefully that doesn't fall. I have other cards that I'm using retired paper, because that's what we have tons of, right? The paper that we love, we buy it, and then we forget it or we use half the pack, and then what are you going to do with it? So this is what I thought would be a good idea. All right, Debbie's here. Awesome. All right, so actually I'll show you the other card. So this is the one I'm going to make. This is the one that the envelope's the same, but it opens up this way. So the card comes out this way. And so it's the same card, just obviously different paper, but really it's the same card. And so that's what I'm going to do. And then I just think the pretzels are kind of fun. So this would be fun to cut in the mail. And then so I'll show you both ways how to open it that way. And the other one I did, and this uses, I loved this paper. This is Christmas paper a couple of years ago. But rather than using a, I just used like a mailing label to throw in there. And it might be kind of little. I probably should have used a bigger one. But this, I used a die cut. And I just glued it on there. And so then I'll address it. And I think it's much prettier, especially for such a fancy Christmas card. And so that's done the exact same way too. Actually, this is one little less. I don't know if you can see there's a little vellum on here. So this has one less step. And then it's pretty long. So you can just write your message in there. But I did that one horizontal as well. All right, so put that back in there. Okay. We are going to start with our 12 by 12 paper. And here are my, I'm just going to leave them there for a second. If you want to take hopefully you can read them. Put them a little closer. If you want to take a screenshot of it, you can do that. I will take a picture of it and post it on there when I do that with my photographs. That seems to work. Mary Lou says, love the vellum. I always forget to use vellum and have lots of it. Yeah, vellum is, it's handy when you need a little extra, like, this was fine. I could have left it, but I thought I needed one little extra layer. So the vellum is nice because you can kind of see through it, but not 100%. So it's a nice accent piece. I guess that's what it's called. All right. The envelope uses 9 by 3 by 11 1/4. And so the 11 1/4 is the part that you want to be horizontal. So depending on like this paper, this side doesn't matter. Well, maybe I'll do an envelope that way and I'll do the stripes on the inside. Let me think on that. Like this one, I did the pretzels, so I wanted them sideways. I guess they could have gone up and down, but I did. So that's the 11. What did I say? The 11 1/4 is that way. The problem with this one is then the pretzels are upside down on that side versus like the stripes don't matter. This one, the scene is upside down the back side, but that's, that's okay. That's okay. I'm still going to do the stripes, I think, because I want to show you something. So I'm going to do it with the directions. All right. So my 11 1/4 is going to go this way. And then my 9 3/4 is going to go that way. So I get and Cindy's here. Hi, Cindy. Oh, we got a great group. All right. So what did I say? 11 1/4. 11 1/4. By 9 3/4. Let me see. Yeah, that's on there. 9 3/4. I've made envelopes other times for, I'm just hesitating because that's all right. That's all right. When I cut it the first time, these stripes were going the other way like this, and it's fine. And so I used it right on here. So we'll get to that. Might have to cut another piece. All right. 9 3/4 by 11 1/4. Check. Portrait score. So I'm going to have it in the, even though it's not quite square. So this is the portrait position. It's a little bit longer. I think some people say the shorter side versus the longer side, and that confuses me. So I say either portrait position or landscape, because landscape goes wider. I guess longer, wider, and this is portrait. So we want the paper in our portrait position, and we're going to score at 3/4 and 4.5. So 3/4 inch. My score blade is the lighter gray one. Careful if you use the scoreboard, because I notice when I score the designer paper is a little thinner. Sometimes it can go through. So just be careful you don't cut it through and rip it. 4.5. 4.5. And then I say, then cut 8 3/16 off. So we're going to go over to 8 3/16. So the 16ths are the tiny little lines. So I'm just going to cut over 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to cut this whole piece off. So this is where I vary from the demonstrator who I kind of learned this from. She did other things. So I'm just going to cut it off. I think it's easier. And then turn. So I'm just going to turn it, I guess, 90 degrees. And then, and so you want the, this is where I scored the 3/4 inch. I want that on the top. So then I'm going to put it over. I'm using this side of the ruler, so I'm using 3/4 inches on this side. All right, so I'm going to actually, so this score line is right here that we just did. I'm going to cut from here to the score line, but I think before I do that, I'm going to fold it because then I'm going to see it better. All right. Sometimes you might have to use the other side, although that's a harder side to see the score mark. So my score marker is right there. So I'm going to go back over to the 3/4 inch. So I said turn, so at the 3/4 inch right here, cut the bottom up until the score line. So my score line's right here, so I'm going to cut. And this actually, on this particular cutter, there is a line right here, so kind of matching up this line to my score line. And then I say shift the paper a hair to the left and score. So what I mean is I'm going to take my whole paper, I'm going to shift it to the left a hair, or if you want to even use the line, use that 1/16 of a line, and then I'm going to score down. And it's fine if you score all the way down. So what I did was I cut this piece up to my score line and I scored all the way down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it and I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I'm going to put this over 3/4. So my 3/4 right here. I'm going to feel for my line. I can feel it. So I'm going to cut until I find that score line. I'm going to lift that. I'm going to shift it a hair or 1/16 of an inch, the whole paper that way. And then I'm going to score down. Maybe I'll do another one too, just to see. We'll finish this one and I'll do one more. So this is what we have. So we have a paper with 2 floppy things. We have our envelope that's going to fold in half like that. And then we have the top. Remember that had that 3/4 inch on the top. I'm going to flip it because maybe you can see the score lines better. I don't know if you're going to see the score lines better. So now we're just going to trim a few bits. So this piece, I could do 2 things. I could just cut it right off on the score line and then just cut a little notch or wedge, she called it. I could cut this little square off. Right, we do that a lot with boxes. And then I can wedge it here or notch it here. So it looks like that, right? That looks like an envelope. So I'm just going to flip it over because it's easier for me to cut on this side instead of cutting like that. I could, rather than cutting straight up and over, I could just automatically just cut my wedge in one piece like that. Same thing, I could do the wedge right here and then turn it and do another little wedge or notch right there. So let me move those. So this is what my envelope base looks like. Does that make sense? And then I'm going to fold it on all the score lines. So I can decide at this point if I wanted my envelope to be the flower. It just, I could just fold it this way. I just think, maybe I'll do it that way. We'll do it that way, sure. So this is where you can decide how you want to close it. So if I wanted, I'm gonna close at the top just to show you the first one, and then I'll do another one, and I'll show you how do I do it the other way. So what I'm going to do first, make sure I'm all on camera here. I'm going to put some tear and tape right on here. I think tear and tape would work best because it's pretty sticky and easy to do. So this was a trick she did. She just did it. She didn't say. She took, it was actually shiny and pretty. I assume it was a gift card. I'm just going to use this, but you could use a gift card. She put that here, ready, watch, and she tore it. You didn't have to like take it with your hands or anything. I thought that was pretty clever. And I'm going to put some tear and tape. I'm going to do it on each of these. Put some tear and tape here. Normally what I do is I just rip it, but if you have a hard time, just take a straight edge and just rip it that way. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this one closed first. I'm going to peel this off. She used to take your pick tool, but I just peel it off. And I'm going to close this first. And then what she did, her name was Karen. I have to look it up. But again, she talked in a few languages, which was kind of fun and challenging. She peeled half of this off. Let's see. She left it there. She peeled half of this off. Oops, if I could get it off. Oh, she did a better job. Ooh. That was weird. I didn't even touch anything. Good thing I noticed. I was grabbing my take your pick tool. She uses that to peel it off. That might be easier. All right, so if you just peel it halfway, let's see if this works. And then you close it. Start on the bottom. So that part's closed, and then you peel this, and then you just close it. So you do get a nice kind of flat surface. And then I'm just going to throw some tear and tape right here for when I'm ready to seal my envelope after I sign my card. So I'm going to leave that there. So that is a way of doing kind of the long way of the envelope. Let me put the card together, and then, oh, maybe not. I didn't bring up any cardstock. So I'm not going to put the card together. I'm just going to show you what I did. It's pretty easy. So the card measures 7 by 9.5. So 7 by 9.5. And the finished card, I forgot to bring up my bubble bath. The finished card is 3.5 by 9.5, right? So that's just half. So what I did was I took my, oh, because when I cut it, remember I said that this piece went the other way? I took that strip and just put that here. I just trimmed it to 9.25. And then I had this piece. Look at that. It fits right on top like that. I trimmed that. That is like basically the card. And I took vellum. On this one, I used plain vellum. But on this one, I used that striped vellum. In the annual catalog, there's like 3 patterns of the vellum. There's stripes, polka dots, and flowers. So it just added a little extra something. So that's this vellum. Oh, what's going on? Sorry if you couldn't see up close. I don't know why I did that. Had the stripes. And what I did, this I can show you. I took my piece of vellum and I took my deckled circles, which I made a video last week. It was a club video, and I did post it over the weekend on Facebook on the polar bear rocker card. And I actually used this piece with it. So in that video, you'll see that I showed you how I made marks for the center part of this die, and I just marked it with a paint marker. So I used the same one. So what I did was I lined up my, actually I did it this way so I can get extra, but I lined up my center dots here and here with a straight edge, and I ran that through my machine, and then I got this piece. So that's how I got it so straight. I think if you were to cut the whole circle, and you can try to find the circle and then cut it, you can, the center, you can do that. But I just found this way a little bit easier and not wasteful. So I just ran that through the machine and got that piece. So these are coming in handy. I'm using them lots. I used this stamp set and I stamped happy birthday just on pieces of paper, and then I cut it with scissors, just blocked it out here and here. And then I used my, let's see, the greenery from Artistic Dies. We use these in Club too. We may have, now I forget. So I used this piece because this I thought lends itself nice because it's kind of long and it works nice on a long card, because I could have done it without, but I thought it needed a little something. And you could stick leaves, you could, you know, do whatever you want, but that's what I did. So I just put that down. I'm just trying to think. Let me, I like seeing my sweet face. You're so sweet, Nancy. Let me actually show you what I did. We'll do this all except for the card base. I can't believe I forgot the card base. I was so excited I got it set up. But I'm working on multiple projects, lots of Christmas stuff. So it's a little bit hectic. All right, so I stamped. I've used this before in a video. I did very lightly so we don't get those dots. So happy. Let's see if I did it. Yeah. I'm just putting it really light, like 3 times, instead of like smushing it, because it's so fine in these that sometimes you get those dots. So birthday. And what I mean by dots is, these aren't too bad, but see the dots between, sometimes they're like in all of them. I got one little one here and that's fine. So what I did was, I cut the short sides first. This is pretty easy to cut because they're so, the letters are so blocky. So I just left a little white border there. Let me go this way. Left a white border here. There, and yeah, I'm looking at my fingers. I was working with Pretty Peacock before I hopped on. All right. Just want to show you how I attached. Vellum's tricky to attach to cards because it's see-through and you don't always want to see your adhesive. So I'll show you what I did. All right. So that's my happy birthday. And then here's my vellum. Let me actually put the card here so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. So I just kind of lined up where I wanted my happy birthday to go, kind of in the middle. And I took my dimensionals. You could use just glue it down, but I find with vellum you can be careful with glue because it's, you know, has liquid water in it, and sometimes it warps the vellum. So I try to use as little glue as possible with vellum. All right, so I put my dimensionals there, and I'm going to do happy, and then I'm going to do birthday. And I'm going to actually do one more because that might be a little off the edge, which is okay for the card, but just want it to stick. All right. Birthday. I think those are straight-ish. Nice thing about the vellum is you can actually take it off. All right. So where is, let's see if we can kind of make a card here. A card without the, where did the, I did have some with thinner stripes. I'm just going to cut one. This is what I had to do with a pretzel. I had to take another piece of paper and just cut the piece I needed because it didn't line up. So I'm just going to do that. I think I cut it at 1 1/4. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh, here it is. My cutting blade fell off. Does that ever happen to you? So there's if it happens to you, there's a little gap here. And so it fits right in there. That was funny. Usually if it falls out, I hear it like plopping around the floor, but I didn't hear it. All right, so that's the stripe. And what did I say? It was 9 1/4. 9 1/4. Actually, I'm going to trim this piece too because I didn't do that yet. 9 1/4. Okay. Make sure the thing's stuck there. All right, so we're going to pretend. We're going to just use this as a mock-up. But we have a card base. And that's, let's see. I am going to stick it together though. Let's see how well I can do with this. So it's going to make a little thin strip of glue is going to go on this side. What I've been meaning to do, and I had this idea, I haven't done it yet, but now this solidifies I need to do it, is I was going to take one piece of every color cardstock that I have and leave it up here for this exact reason. When I forget to bring something I need, I'll have a backup. So make sure I do that. All right, so that will be that. So let's just pretend it's on our card base. So now I have to attach this and this. So this particular die has tons of these like little pieces. So I could take a poker tool and poke out each one. But that would take a while. So I'm just gonna kind of flick, not all of them, just as many as I can. That's enough. And then so now some are in there and some are not. So I think it just adds to the card. So that's going to be added here. And I'm just going to add a little glue here. Just putting glue under kind of the thicker parts of this leaf, which is not many, but it's enough that it will stay. So I did 3 little dots of glue. So Mary Lou wrote, she didn't know about the vellum water. Yeah, that's what I find. Like sometimes try it. If you add a little glue and you put it, you're going to see it like it warps a little bit. So I try to use dimensionals or glue dots when I use vellum. Except for now I'm going to use glue, but this part's not going to matter because it's going to be underneath. But you could use tear and tape. You could use whatever. But I'm just going to use glue. So I'm just going to put glue behind what's here. So we have our happy birthday. So I'm putting glue behind here. So you're not going to see the glue. So then I'm just going to line it up with this edge and just press down. But I certainly could have used glue dots or seal or tear and tape. So that's kind of how I attached this to make a card. And then I added just a couple little gems. And I stamped, wishing you everything wonderful. So that's how I did that. So do you want me to show you how to do an envelope again? And then I'll show you how to seal it the other way. So I will make, I'll just do another pretzel one. Because I think the pretzel ones are cute. If I can find it. Maybe I don't have another pretzel in here. No, we'll just do strawberry because that will match I'll just do another the same card. We'll do a strawberry envelope. All right. So where'd my directions go? They're there. All right, so I need 9 3/4 by 11 1/4. So remember, the 11 1/4 is going to go this way. So this one definitely matters. I need the 11 1/4 go this way because sideways strawberries just won't work. So what I should have done, I guess, is I cut this piece off first. I'm just thinking. Yeah, I'm still going to cut that piece off, I guess. Because this one, it's not going to matter because the directions of the strawberries, I would need a separate piece of paper like I just did. All right. So that is 11 1/4 by 9 3/4. All right, here we go. You guys are good. Let's see. And I'll post the directions again. The other thing is once you have a template, like I say, I just did this one first, and then you have a template, and then you could just keep this and follow along with it. And I think that would be helpful too. All right, so here it is, 11 1/4 by 9 3/4. I want my not half inch, 3/4 inch, the fold part to be on the top. So this is my top. So I'm just going to do it this way because I have to make 2 score lines. So I'm going to do 3/4 here. So this is my top. And then I'm going to do 4 1/2. So those are just 2 score lines. And then I'm going to go over, so 3 1/4 I did, 4 1/2, and then I'm going to go to 8 3/16 and cut that piece right off. So the 16ths are the tiny little marks. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to cut that off entirely. And I couldn't cut it off before because we needed this section for these tabs. So that's why we did it that way. So now I'm going to use the 3/4 mark on this side of my cutter. Actually, first I'm going to fold. It'll just help me see and feel it better. All right. Now I'm going to go to my, is this in the camera? Here we go. In my 3/4, I'm going to cut from the bottom up, so my cutter's on the bottom, up until this score line. So again, there's a little mark on this one here, and I'm matching it with there. And then I'm going to lift that up. I'm going to shimmy or shift my whole piece of paper to the left by a hair, I said, or like one of these little marks. And then I'm going to score. And it's all right if I go past that score line because that's going to get cut off anyways. So now I have a score line here, and that's cut off. So I'm going to flip it and do the exact same thing. So I'm going to go to 3/4. And this is a little harder, but I can feel it right here. So I'm going to mark it right there. I'm going to shift it to the left. And I'm going to score. So what it looks like right now is I have these 2 flaps, and then I have the score marks. So my scissors, where did they go? And I'll do this how I did it before. I could cut right on the score line, just cut that right piece off, and then I'm going to notch it. Or, well, I'll do it again. I can cut, and I'm going to notch it here, or you could just do the notch first. So this one I'll just do the notch without the cutting. You can cut and notch if you want. You could cut and notch, or you could just cut the whole thing off, notch the whole thing off. So then you get, this is your envelope. So I'm going to fold on all score lines. So I'm going to have the strawberries on this one. I'm going to have on the outside. That was already folded. So you can decide for this one, I'm going to have it closed from the long way. So you can either close your envelope, these seals on the outside. Some envelopes do that. Or if you want them to close on the inside and go like that. So it's your choice. I'll just do it this way. So I'm going to put tear and tape here. If I was, so I'm going to close it this way, but if I was going to close it so this went this way, you put the tear and tape on the inside. And this one's a little easier to close because you can close it one side at a time. So I'm just going to close it. And then I can reopen this one. Just take that off. And I'll just close it. So now the envelope opens that way. And I will again put my tear and tape. Along the top here. And after I put my card in, you know, I'll write my little message, put the card in. There you go. I'll take that off and seal it shut. And then I will put the address on the front. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, I thought it was clever. It's not my idea, but I did change it a little bit because she had a few extra steps in there I think would have been confusing. So I figured out how to eliminate those for you. All right, so here are the, let's see, here's my Christmas one. But the card you can see is all the same. You know, I didn't think it needed to be complicated, and I liked how I was able to use the scrap paper that was left over from the envelope on the card. You certainly could do like segments going this way. You know, you guys are card makers, you know what to do. So there you go. I'll take pictures of them. I will take a picture. Hopefully this makes sense to you. It will only make sense to people who are watching the video and post that as well. Alrighty, let's see. Here we go. Move this out of the way. So hopefully you like today's project. I know that like I said, I have a whole whole big container full of retired older designer paper, and there's nothing wrong with it. And so I think this card design lends itself that you can kind of make a card in an envelope, depending on how you cut it, out of one sheet of paper. So if you only have one sheet of paper, that you can definitely use it. Great. So Bonita likes the cards and the matching envelope. Awesome. Mary Lou says so clever, and Nancy loves them. Yay. Awesome. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything up here. No. Awesome. Yeah, so that's what I had for you today. I will take pictures. I will post them. I'll post the link to anyone who misses it and wants to watch it. And next Tuesday is Halloween. I'm pretty sure next Tuesday is Halloween. So I'm not sure if I'll do a Halloween project or not, because it'll be kind of late for you to make something Halloween-y, but I did send out these chocolate spiders. I know a lot of you watched them live, but I sent out picture directions on how to make those cute little chocolate spiders today. So I'll have to think of what we do next week. If you have ideas, send them my way. I'm always looking for ideas on what to show you guys, what you want to learn. All right, so thank you very much. Yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Have a wonderful week, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.